Hello, welcome to the Daily News Ukraine channel. Today is December 11th and our daily review of news about Ukraine. All Ukrainian thermal and hydroelectric power plants have been damaged as a result of 8 waves of Russian missile attacks on Ukraine. In addition, 40% of the high-voltage network facilities are damaged to varying degrees. Ukraine's energy system sees a significant power deficit. After 8 waves of missile attacks on the country, all thermal and hydroelectric power stations are damaged, 40% of the high-voltage network facilities are damaged to varying degrees. Each of us must realize that we will go through this winter with significant restrictions on electricity consumption, Prime Minister of Ukraine Denis Shmyhal posted on Facebook. He added that the government instructed the Ministry of Energy of Ukraine to determine and submit for consideration clear electricity supply priorities. The first priority is critical infrastructure and hospitals, the second priority is enterprises and objects of the military-industrial complex, the third priority is business that manufactures goods and products of critical importance for the country, and the fourth priority is the housing sector, Shmyhal clarified. As reported, the member countries of the International Energy Advisory Council under the Ministry of Energy of Ukraine handed over equipment for the energy infrastructure restoration worth millions of euros. OL. In Luhansk region, the Russian invaders are getting ready to forcibly mobilize all men without exception. There is a clear understanding that they, Russian invaders, will mobilize everyone. We have seen the evolution of mobilization, from recruitment into the Russian army under patriotic slogans, then we saw financial motivation, and now it all happens exclusively through coercive measures, that is, everyone is forced. Now they, Russians, are trying to create a picture that everything is calm and force all state employees to go to work without fail on Monday, and in this way show that everything is under their control, Serhiy Haidai, head of the Luhansk Regional Military Administration, said during the air of the nationwide telethon. According to him, the professional Russian army is ending and its brigades are now staffed with the newly mobilized who were trained for 2 to 3 weeks. Haidai added that the enemy's medical aid provision is currently at a low level. Since the Russians stole medical equipment in Luhansk region, they need to take their wounded to Luhansk city. Many of them die on the road. As reported, the armed forces of Ukraine eliminated about 94,140 Russian invaders from February 24 to December 11. OL. President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky and President of France Emmanuel Macron synchronized their positions ahead of the G7 summit scheduled for next week. Had a phone call with French President Emmanuel Macron. Synchronized positions on the eve of the G7 online summit and the Ukraine support conference in Paris, Zelensky posted on Telegram. The leaders also discussed the implementation of the 10-step peace formula, cooperation on defense and energy stability of Ukraine. As reported, important international events, including the G7 summit, will be held next week. According to President Zelensky, this will be the final summit of the Group of 7 for 2022, at which the priorities for the next year will be determined. OL. The Ministry of Defense of Ukraine gave infantry soldiers, who are currently defending Bakhmut direction, departmental awards. As the Ministry of Defense posted on Telegram, Deputy Minister of Defense Uragan MLRS awarded soldiers on the eve of the Day of Ground Forces of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. The soldiers were awarded Badge of Honor for exemplary service. Service members who sacrificed their blood in battles for the freedom of Ukraine received Wound Medal. Moreover, some service members were given the Steel Cross Award of the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. It is a great honor and pleasure to talk to the best soldiers and convey the sincerest congratulations from the Minister of Defense of Ukraine Alexei Reznikov on the Day of the Armed Forces of Ukraine and the Day of Ground Forces. We always talk at such meetings. I try to answer all the questions of our military the Ministry of Defense is in charge of, MLRS said. Script async src equals https://telegram.org/js/telegramwidget.js 21 data telegram post equals ministry_of_defense_UA/3621 data width equals 100%/script. She also noted that the winter uniform is sufficient, the allowance is paid to everyone on time, there are no complaints about food. The frontline conditions dictate their rules of logistics and provision, everyone understands that. Other issues we discussed are off the record, Maliar noted. As reported, the Day of Ground Forces of the Armed Forces of Ukraine is marked every year on December 12. Photo, Ministry of Defense of Ukraine OL. Members of the 71st Separate Hunting Brigade of the Air Assault Troops of the Armed Forces of Ukraine smashed a Russian sabotage and reconnaissance group in Bakhmut district, Donetsk region. Russian troops deployed a sabotage and reconnaissance group near Bakhmut to identify the defense system of Ukrainian positions. However, they failed to get to the positions of the 71st Separate Hunting Brigade of the Air Assault Troops. All-seeing drones detected the enemy's movement, and the enemy was struck with accurate mortar fire, the press service of the Air Assault Troops posted on Telegram. Video, official public channel of the Air Assault Troops of the Armed Forces of Ukraine https://t.me/ua_dshv/929. According to the Air Assault Troops data, at least 2 Russian soldiers were killed. These are only confirmed enemy losses. As reported, members of the Special Operations Center A of the Security Service of Ukraine destroyed an enemy Kamaz truck with 10 Russian military personnel with an anti-tank missile system. OL. The Russian troops killed 2 civilians and injured 10 more in Ukraine on December 10. Kirill Tymoshenko, deputy head of the Office of the President of Ukraine, published a relevant report on Telegram, referring to data provided by regional military administrations, according to Ukrinform. In particular, 2 civilians were killed and 5 more were injured in Kherson region. 2 civilians were injured in Donetsk region, 1 was injured in Kharkiv, and 2 were injured in Zaporizhia region. As Ukrinform reported, 8 regions in Ukraine came under enemy shelling on December 10. Germany understands Ukraine's needs for weapons and will increase its supplies. Ukraine's ambassador to Germany Alexei Makeiev stated this in an interview with Germany's Die Welt newspaper, Ukrinform reports. We have been assured in direct talks of more weapons and ammunition, the ambassador said. However, he did not specify the types of weapons, explaining that he does not want to put diplomatic pressure on the federal government, although he called on Germany to speed up the planned deliveries. Since we don't have time to wait for more weapons, the diplomat emphasized. He noted that in addition to the first Iris-T air defense system, which is working perfectly, the Ukrainian forces need more air defense systems, self-propelled howitzers, Jeopard systems, and ammunition. In addition, Makeiev said that negotiations continue regarding possible supplies of Marder IFVs and Leopard tanks. However, the final decision on this must be approved by the German government, he added. We expect the government to respond more promptly to our proposals and requests. I already see positive dynamics here, the ambassador said. Germany is currently the largest arms and humanitarian aid supplier to Ukraine in the EU. The Russian forces shelled the city of Kurakhove in Donetsk region with Uragan MLRS. Kirill Tymoshenko, deputy head of the Ukrainian president's office, reported this on Telegram according to Ukrinform. The occupiers again shelled the city of Kurakhove in Donetsk region. They used Uragan MLRS, he wrote. Read also, 2 civilians injured in Russia's shelling of Donetsk region. Tymoshenko noted that according to preliminary information, no one was injured. Emergency services are working on the spot. As reported, the Russian troops shelled 5 settlements in Donetsk region on December 10. Civilians were injured. Electricity supply has been restored to almost 90% of households in Kherson city. Head of the Kherson Regional Military Administration, Yaroslav Yanushevich, wrote this on Telegram, Ukrinform reports. Following Russian shelling, power supply was restored in Kherson. Almost 90% of the city and nearby settlements are now with electricity, Yanushevich wrote. The day before, the Russian troops shelled Kherson, leaving part of the city and a nearby village without electricity. As reported, the Russian army is constantly shelling Kherson and the liberated right bank from the temporarily occupied territory of Kherson region on the left bank of the Dnipro. Russian attacks damaged civil infrastructure facilities and residential buildings. Ukrainian Marines eliminated 3 Russian invaders on December 10. The press service of the Naval Forces of the Armed Forces of Ukraine said this in a Facebook post, Ukrinform reports. Military units and subdivisions of the Marine Command of the Naval Forces of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, which are part of the Army groupings, continued to carry out tasks to repel the full-scale armed aggression of the Russian Federation. Yesterday, on December 10, Marines eliminated 3 invaders, the report reads. Artillery units and other teams of Ukraine's Marines inflicted fire damage on the invaders. Final enemy losses are being verified. As Ukrinform reported, Russia has already lost about 94,140 troops in Ukraine, including 380 on December 10. Today we were talking about those news. PM Shmyhal, all Ukrainian thermal and hydroelectric power plants damaged by Russian attacks. Invaders will forcibly mobilize all men in Luhansk region. Zelensky, Macron synchronize positions ahead of G7 summit. Defense Ministry awards infantry soldiers defending Bakhmut. Paratroopers smash Russian sabotage group near Bakhmut. Russian forces kill 2 civilians, injure 10 more in Ukraine on December 10. Germany to increase arms supplies to Ukraine, Ambassador Makeiev. Russian troops strike Donetsk region's Kurakhove with Uragan MLRS. Electricity supply restored to almost 90% of households in Kherson. Marines eliminate 3 invaders in past day.